hole punched it for you guys too, so you can put it in your binders. Because I know you all have binders.
Raise your hand if you didn't get a paper. Okay.
Okay, everybody have a name and date?
Yep.
Write it down. The first part says what? The first block says what?
Someone
Who is the main character?
This is
There was a lot of people in this story.
Miss Cross.
So as a whole, raise your hand. Who can tell me who is the main character of the story?
The class.
The class as a whole, yes. So put Miss Cross's class. I put Miss Cross's 5th grade class. Because everybody played a really big part in this story. Everybody got that?
Yes, ma'am.
You got just a minute. Alright, the next block says wanted. What did the character want? So the main character is the classroom. Shh. Okay, what did the character want? So if the main character is the class, what was it that the class wanted? What did the class want?
They wanted to make money for the new school equipment.
Okay. That's right. I put they wanted to raise money for new equipment for the school grounds. Don't try to write fast because we're on a time limit.
And this part doesn't necessarily have to be in a complete sentence.
Okay, but what was the problem? What was the main problem in this story?
They didn't have enough money to buy new equipment for the school grounds.
Exactly. They needed money for equipment for the school grounds. That was their problem. They needed to come up with a way to raise money. Raise your hand if you've got that. Alright, I'm going to move on to the next one. So, how did the character try to solve the problem? What did they do in this story to solve this problem right here? What did they do?
They set up a table in front of the big grocery store near the school.
Okay, and what did they have?
All kinds of different bread.
Yeah, they had a bread sale, right? Okay, I like how you read it straight from the text, though. That was great. So I said they decided to have a bread bake sale. They each baked their own breads.
You have a question?
I was thinking about they started a charity for school equipment.
They didn't start a
I
charity.
think the character.
They just had a bread sale.
Oh, sorry.
That would be a good idea, though, I guess, to raise money. You're right. Raise your hand when you're done for me. Or what are you doing? See that when you're done. Yeah. What? They decided to have a bread bake sale. They each baked their own breads. Just a few seconds. Alright, then, next part, then. So what was the resolution to the problem? The problem was they needed to come up with a way to raise money. What was the solution? What ended up happening at the end of the story?
They read so they can raise money for the clinic in ground for school.
And how much money did they raise?
$370.
So I put they raised $370 for new equipment. That solved their problem. They had enough money to buy equipment for the grounds.
Hey, remember what you do when you're finished?
So it's all on one case.
Hey, just a couple more seconds.
Okay, so we are going to put all this information right here that we just did to make a small summary.
We got
So-
it into a big old sum.
But let me finish explaining, okay? So what would be the first thing that you would start off your summary with? What's the first thing that you need to know about this story? And where would you look for the first part?
Someone.
Okay. So what was going on? What would you say in your first sentence of the summary?
Miss Cross's grade class, they wanted to raise
Money.
stuff for the school. They needed a way to come up with a way to raise money.
Okay. So the first thing I would say was Mrs. Cross' 5th grade class needed money for new equipment. That's the first thing you found out when you read the story, right? Mrs. Cross' 5th grade class needed money for new equipment.
I was about to write all that down because I put all the summary paper.
Yeah, that's what we can do now. We're gonna make it into a summary paragraph.
And you should be writing this at the bottom and all that space that's given. Okay, so we know that Miss Cross's 5th grade class needed money for new equipment. So, move on to the next box. What did they do?
They started a fund.
Say what?
They started a fundraiser for school equipment.
A bake sale. So, Mrs. Cross' 5th grade class needed money for new equipment. So they had to come up with a way to raise money, and they decided to have a bake sale, a bread bake sale. So in that next sentence, you need to tell, in your own words,
Okay, so
Miss Cross's 5th grade class needed money for new equipment. So you need to put,
So they decided to have a bake sale.
to raise money.
Yeah, because when you summarize, you want to summarize in your own words. But you have to have your
Make sure you're using
evidence.
correct punctuation. Every sentence begins with a capital letter. Hands up.
So using what she gave you already in the summary, you guys should be able to finish your summary on your own. Using what she gave you, using the elements.
You probably need a couple more sentences, and that would be enough. So in 2 more sentences, wrap up what happened, all the way to the very end. So 2 more sentences after that one you just wrote. Wrapping up the story.
Try to use at least one text talker phrase.
That's one sentence. That's a long sentence. You need to break that up and make that into several sentences. That's a lot of comments. So you could say Miss Francis within the class.
I say you have it all summarized. Amani, read your summary.
Miss Crosby's grade class needed money for 5th grade equipment, but they decided to have a basic. So they had already started their basic and they earned $370 for it. So they raised enough money for the grant.
Who has finished a summary? You did? You want to read it? Alright, she's going to read her summary.
Miss Cross's 5th grade class. They needed money for new equipment, so they decided to have a bake sale to raise money. They baked their own bread. They raised $310 for new equipment.
Good job. I don't think it was 310 though.
It was 370.
It was 370, so make sure you change that.
370 for new
Alright, she said, Miss Cross's 5th grade class needed money for new equipment. They decided to have a bake sale. They raised $370 for new equipment. They got a lot of stuff like toys for the playground and stuff for the classroom. You added in that extra part because they didn't say that. They probably did use that, but I wouldn't put that in my summary because they didn't say that in the story. But I'm sure that's exactly what it went to. Mrs. Cross's 5th grade class needed money for new equipment, so they decided to make a bake sale. Each person brought breads they liked. The author wrote, I like that, a text talker. They made $370 for new equipment. That sounded almost like my summary. My summary said, Miss Cross's 5th grade class needed money for new equipment. They had to come up with a way to raise money, so they decided to have a bread bake sale. Each student baked their own breads and brought it to the sale. The class raised $370 for new equipment. So I summed up everything that anybody would have found out reading that story by just about 4 sentences. So do y'all understand summarizing now?
Yes,
How you break it up, you find out what the problem is, how they solved the problem, the resolution. You guys got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank y'all for being good.
That's not only
That is a compliment. Thank y'all for being good and quiet and respectful and raising your hands.
Perfect.
So does that mean we get another
One person tell me what you learned today.
oh
Yes, sir.
that eating other foods from other cultures can really teach you something?
Right. What can it teach you?
It teaches you what kind of food they eat.
Yeah,
their
right.
arts and beliefs and
All right, very good. One more person want to tell me what they learned? Skylar, what's your learners?
I learned that when they have nothing, I learned that working together helps you get places.
Yeah, if you work together, you can come up with ways to make money.